We're talking about connecting safely. So, and also like really like what is the difference between connecting and channeling and all that. So, like as you start getting interested in intuition work and psychic work and all that kind of stuff, you're going to fall into the place of connecting to different beings and to different energies and all that. And I definitely teach that in the soul programs, but I think it's just something I can teach forever. So I wanted to make a little workshop about that in case anybody is maybe hasn't done the soul programs or is going beyond maybe what you were originally taught and like going beyond, other things and discovering more of these worlds that you can find when you start meditating and connecting and all that. So I wanted to go over that with you guys. So first we have channeling. So channeling is exactly what most of you would think it is. Channeling is that you are basically becoming a channel and almost like moving your spirit aside to allow another being to come through and speak through you. So a good example of channeling would be Abraham Hicks. So connecting to me feels like I am talking to a being, like the same way like my husband's going to come here and talk to me, like I feel like I'm just connecting to him. He's not like coming into my body and using my body to as an instrument. I'm just talking with him. So that to me is connecting. So it's like I feel a spirit guide. I'm sitting in meditation with the spirit guide and I'm just trying to get the information or any sort of being or a past loved one. I'm just connecting with, and there's a separation between like me and the other being. So that is, that's connecting. Even when it comes to beings, what now if we would move into like things like that are not beings, like predictions, stuff like that, you're at that point you're reading energy. So you're like reading more. Where this is more about like connecting, like I've called something in, I'm talking to it, I'm having a conversation with it, I'm connecting with it. A lot of times if you go to like a reading and the person is basically like connecting sometimes with your guide and it's just being like a translator for the information that's coming through. So it doesn't mean that they're like channeling it. They might use the word channeling, but basically what they're doing is they're connecting. It's like they're getting on the phone and they're telling you what they're hearing from the phone. So this is like I'm connecting with these beings. That makes sense? So that's the big difference. Channeling, again, anytime I've seen my students channel, there's a moment where like the being asks for permission and then the person allows it through. So it's bigger than connecting and bigger than automatic writing and all that stuff. So just kind of first knowing the difference, knowing that like the difference between the two things is important. And then next we want to think about like how we protect ourselves. So number one is that intention, right? So making sure you're coming from the heart. And then number two is like setting up your protection. What feels right for you when it comes to protecting. So like we don't want to just go into connecting or go into channeling. Like it's kind of like, we don't want to just go into sex without like putting a condom on or knowing we're on birth control or something. Like we want to have somewhat of a plan, unless we're like, wanting to get pregnant or whatever, or get an STD. But we want to go in with a little bit of a protection plan, right? So for me, that protection plan looks like I can do it anywhere, but when I'm connecting, I'm typically doing it in this room because this room itself is already set up for a lot of connections. There's crystals in certain places. There's intentions that I place here, even like that there's not too much in this room. That's all part of like keeping this place clean. There's candles lit here, often essence. There's a lot of intention put into this room. So I know that even if I'm in I would like have to quickly jump on a call with a client or something, like that this room is already protecting me. Some of you are not going to have, that because you're not connecting as much as I am, because it's not your work. But going into knowing that you have a little bit of a ritual. Maybe you put 2 crystals next to you that like are clearing crystals, and you've spoken into those crystals. You take care of them. Maybe you're cleansing them, putting them out in the full moons, things like that. Maybe you put candles or you have a statue or something, like whatever your ritual is, but that's happening, that like there is an intention and a sacredness, like a knowing of the sacredness that I'm about to move into, right? And then, you start your practice. And then in addition to that, I do like energetic protection. So I'm closing my eyes, I'm putting myself in an energetic bubble. I'm calling in Archangel Michael to be with me. Any of the guides that I work with Jesus and anything else, and just kind of call my own spirit guides, calling them to be with me. And I set the intention, I'm like, may I, if I'm doing it with somebody else, if I'm like doing it for somebody else, may I be a vessel of healing. Please use me as an instrument of your peace. Like, I'm setting, so just that setting, it's like I am only connecting to love and light at this point. Like, nothing, and because of my free will, like nothing can come in, because I've already, like, this is like I'm plugging into love into this moment. And even on the days that I feel scared or shitty or whatever, like just plugging into love keeps me very, very safe. So I do set up my room. So decide how you want to set up your room. Energetic bubble. So just kind of seeing yourself like in a little energetic bubble that keeps you safe. Calling your guides or your ascended masters, whatever you work with, your past loved ones. You want to call in your ancestors, and you have set the tone for what you're about to connect to. And then you go into the connection. Does that make sense?